Hey guys, Derek here again. Welcome to the 90-minute meeting, the first step of the EOS proven process. To begin with, EOS stands for Entrepreneur Operating System. Entrepreneurial Operating System. Okay. EOS finds that covering 4 simple points is the best way to answer all the questions a team will have about whether EOS can help our organization. About EOS, about you, tools, the process. For About EOS, you get a quick history about EOS worldwide, the company that created the EOS model. Next, about For You, you answer a few questions that help to get a sense of where you've been, where you are, and where you're going as an organization. As for the tools, you get to experience a few real-world tools by EOS. This would give you a clear sense of what a company running on EOS would look like. For the last point, the process, you see the EOS proven process. This is the proven process that will help you to get the most out of your business. So let's start with the first agenda, about EOS. So about EOS. EOS is a set of simple concepts and practical tools used by more than 275,000 companies around the world to clarify, simplify, and to achieve their vision. EOS is the best for companies with employees between 10 to 250 people. EOS helps you to look at your business in a whole new way, through the lens of the 6 key components, which I'll share in a while. EOS is featured by business publications like Forbes, Entrepreneur, Inc. In summary, EOS helps business get better at 3 things: vision, traction, healthy. With vision, everyone in our organization would be 100% on the same page with where we're going and how we plan to get there. Traction helps to instill focus, discipline, and accountability throughout the company so that everyone executes on that vision every day. And lastly, EOS helps leaders become a more cohesive, functional, and healthy team. So that's all for the agenda for About EOS. So next, we're going to move on to About You. So for About You, let's talk about our organization, right? Can someone share 2-minute history of the organization? What's the revenue, the number of employees, the greatest strength and challenges? Revenue, number of employees, greatest strength, and biggest challenges. Okay, you can write it down first. So for the next 3 questions, everyone needs to answer the questions. In each question, you answer with a number between 1 and 10. So 1 is worst and 10 is the best. So question 1, on a scale of 1 to 10, how effective are our internal meetings? Question 2, from 1 to 10, how aligned is the entire organization around our plan? And question 3, how would you rate the level of accountability in your organization? So right now, for me, in my opinion, I feel that for question 1, how effective are our internal meetings? I would say our meetings are pretty good. So I'll give it like a 8 out of 10. In terms of how aligned our entire organization around our plan, I don't think this is high. So I don't think the team is very aligned at this moment. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. And next will be the level of accountability. I think I'll give that a 6 out of 10. Right. So I'm going to say, so since 8, 4, and 6. So what we're trying to improve is to bring it to 10 out of 10, right? So the gap from 8 to 10 is 2, the gap to 4 to 10 is 6, the 10 6. The gap of 6 to 10 is 4. So which means we need to improve by a score of 2, by a score of 6, and by a score of 4. So thank you for listening to my own scoring of our where we are right now as an organization. Let's move on to the third agenda. All right. So now we're at the third agenda. I'm going to draw this little diagram. At the end of the EOS journey, you'll become at least 80% strong for all EOS 6 key components. With an EOS implementer, it usually takes 2 years. The first key component is called vision. Strengthening the vision component is simply getting everyone 100% on the same page with exactly where our organization is going and how we're going to get there. For people, simply put, we can't do it without great people. This means surrounding ourselves with great people from top to bottom, because we can't achieve a great vision without a great team. For data, this means cutting through all the feelings, personalities, opinions, and egos and boiling our organization down to a handful of objective numbers that gives us an absolute pulse on where things are. Next up, for issues, strengthening this component means becoming great at solving problems throughout the organization, setting them up, knocking them down, and making them go away forever. For a process, this is the secret ingredient in our organization. This means systemizing the business by identifying and documenting the core processes that define the way to run your business. So you need to get everyone on the same page with what the essential procedural steps are, and then get everyone to follow them to create consistency and scalability in our organization. For traction, this means bringing discipline and accountability into the organization, becoming great at execution, taking the vision down to the ground and making it real. So in the next 40 minutes or so, I will help everyone here to understand just what strong means for each key component and introduce a set of practical tools that will help you strengthen each component. So let's start with the first component, vision. For our vision, there's a streamlined strategic planning tool called the Vision Traction Organizer, the VTO. Agreeing on the answers to the 8 questions on the VTO would help the team create a single compelling vision for the organization and get everyone rowing in the same direction. There's no company with no vision, so most of the time there's too much vision. In other words, if I were to ask each of you here, where are we going as a company and how are we going to get there, I'm probably going to get 5 to 6 different answers. So what are our core values? That's the first question on the VTO. Living and breathing these few guiding principles every day is what defines our company's culture. So here are the 8 questions that we have to answer to solve the VTO. The VTO, which is a Vision Traction Organizer, right? To understand our core values, our core focus, our 10-year target, our marketing strategy, and our 3-year picture, right? That's for the vision. And for traction, we have to understand our 1-year plan, our rocks, as well as our issue list. So by answering all questions, you'll know where you are, what you are, where you're going, and how you're going to get there. The core value tells you who you are, the core focus tells you what you are, the 10-year target, the 3-year picture, the 1-year plan, and the rock tells you where you're going. Last but not least, the marketing strategy and the long-term issue list tells how you're going to get there. Do you all agree you have a higher chance of achieving your vision if the vision is shared by all in your organization compared with nobody knowing the vision, right? So now to the second component, people. When working on the people component, let's cut through all the jargon, A players, superstars, platinum team, and so on. Put simply, you need 2 things to be 100% strong in the people component. Right people, right seat. Okay? So Jim Collins popularized these terms by helping us understand that to succeed in business, you need the right people in the right seats. You've got to have both. But what do those terms really mean? Right people are people who share our core values. They fit our culture. Okay? Right seats means everyone has the skills and the experience to excel in a job that's truly important to the organization. So once these definitions are clear and tangible, we use 2 tools to strengthen the people component. The first tool is called the People Analyzer. This tool helps you clearly identify everyone in the organization who fits your culture like a glove and also expose those who don't share our core values. The second tool is called the Accountability Chart. This tool helps you to build the ideal structure for your organization and clearly determine the right seats. Most organizations have an organization chart, but the accountability chart is like a supercharged org chart because it actually crystallizes everyone's roles and responsibilities. It establishes a clear ownership of and accountability for everything that's important to your business and clearly illustrates who reports to whom. When we build an accountability chart, we start with a clean slate by figuratively firing everybody. We take a big step back and start from scratch because we have to focus all of our attention on getting the simplest and the best structure for the organization. When you're stuck thinking about the way things have always worked or the people you have in certain seats today, you simply can't focus on structure first. So with a clean slate, we start with a fundamental belief that there are only 3 major functions in every business. There's sales and marketing, there's operations, and there's finance. When you build your accountability chart, you customize it. Sometimes the sales and marketing function splits into 2 seats. There may be 2 or more distinct operation seats. Occasionally, finance splits into HR, IT, and admin. This is just a basic structure to illustrate the concept. What's really important is getting the simplest and the best structure for you. So right now, the next critical function is someone we call the integrator. Simply put, the integrator is the glue, the person who harmoniously integrates the major functions of the business, who runs the day-to-day. In many organizations, these 4 seats make up the company's leadership team. About half the time, there's another critical seat called the visionary. This is the person with lots of ideas. Always say they have 20 ideas a week, right? But 19 aren't really so great, but 1 is awesome. It's that one idea that would take the company to the moon. Often, this is the founding entrepreneur. Visionaries are great at relationships and at creating and preserving a good culture. They are creative, strategic thinkers, and builders. So normally, 2 common problems occur in entrepreneurial companies where the roles of the visionary and integrator haven't been clearly defined. The first occurs when a visionary is trying to run a company. You can't have a visionary in the integrator seat, because what you get are these wonderful 90-day spikes where everyone gets excited about a new idea or new direction, but when a visionary gets bored running day to day and starts to create chaos. The second problem happens when two or more partners trip all over one another trying to co-run the company. In the world of accountability chart, only one person can ultimately be accountable to a major function. Because when you have two people accountable, nobody is accountable, right? This is something I can relate, and I believe this is something you guys can relate as well. Once you've identified all the critical functions in the organization, we then define the 5 roles for each seat. In other words, what do we need the person who owns each seat to excel at in order to achieve our vision? From there, we build out the accountability chart for the entire organization. Only after we've detailed critical functions we need and the 5 roles for each function do we identify the right people for each seat. We do that by comparing the demands of the seat to what people love to do and are best at. Following this process, we'll potentially expose 2 people issues to be resolved. The first is right person, wrong seat. You have someone who shares your values, they've been around forever, you love them, but you're in the wrong seat. Hopefully there's a different seat for that person, but if there's not, assuming we're a for-profit business, we may have to have a tough people decision to make. The second issue is wrong person, right seat. You have a talented, productive person who just doesn't share your core values. As tough as it is, this person has to go as well, because they're killing our culture. They're chipping away at what we're trying to build in little ways that we can't even see. They're consuming our time and energy. They're making other people in the company miserable. Long term, they do more damage than good. Using these tools and making those tough decisions will ultimately get to a point where all people on our team are the right people in the right seats. Only then will we be getting the most from everyone in the organization, working together well and achieving our full potential. So yeah, do you all agree that having more right people in the right seat is better than having more wrong people in the wrong seat? For sure, right? So now to the third component, data. To be 100% strong in the data component, you need 2 things: scorecards and measurables for everyone in the organization. Drew this a bit too close. Great scorecards contain 5 to 15 weekly numbers, which are leading indicators that give leadership teams an absolute pulse on the business. So I'm sure you guys have seen our scorecard by now. It's basically your names and what are the scorecard items that you're responsible for, and then there's like a weekly breakdown on an Excel sheet in terms of how you're going to achieve those things, right? So by looking at 13 weeks of history each week, you would see patterns and trends develop, gain insight from those numbers, and make better decisions. Ultimately, right, this decision will spread throughout the organization. Every department will have its own scorecard, and every single person will have at least one measurable. You're 100% strong in the data component when you have a great leadership team scorecard, and when everyone in the organization is connected to achieving your vision by at least one number he or she has to keep on track each week. With scorecards and measurables, you cut through feelings, subjectivity, personalities, opinions, and ego, and instead manage objectively. That creates a peace of mind. You sleep better at night. You'll no longer have to talk to 6 people to get a real story. When a number is off track, you simply make the appropriate adjustment to get that number back on track. When you're strong in the vision, people, and data components, you have a transparent organization. All of your problems literally become crystal clear. There's no place to hide. You start to smoke out the real issues. And that brings us to the 4th key component, issue. To strengthen the issues component, there's a need to first create a culture in which everyone feels comfortable being open and honest about what he or she believes is holding them back. So issues. You want people to get those problems, challenges, ideas, and opportunities out of their head and onto an issue list for each team. In issues component, there's a simple tool called IDS that will help teams make issues go away forever. I stands for identify, D stands for discuss, and S stands for solve. This stems from EOS discovery that when tackling issues, even talented leadership teams spend most of their time discussing. They rarely identify anything and almost never solve anything. Before we start discussing anything, we first need to dig down to identify the root cause of the issue. Then we discuss it openly and honestly, with everyone saying what needs to be said only once, because more than once is really just politicking at this point. Finally, we solve the issue by agreeing on a plan that will make it go away forever. We take the time to get every member of the team support for and commitment to that plan before moving on. Ultimately, this simple discipline will create a habit in your organization. Top to bottom, that will help everyone become an expert at solving his or her own problems so that issues no longer linger for days, weeks, months, or even years. You stop the endless rehashing of issues. Do you agree that IDS format helps get more productivity out of meetings? For sure. Now, to the fifth component, process. EOS has an approach for documenting the company's handful of core processes at a high level and then getting those steps followed by all. So there we go. Process. So most organizations try to finish a thorough SOP manual to no avail. EOS takes a very simple approach to systemizing your business. Companies who use EOS document their 6 to 10 core business processes. HR, marketing, sales, operations, finance, and customer support are chief among them. They document the steps in the process in an entrepreneurial way using the 20-80 rule. 20% of process that gets 80% result. Even with a 20-80 core process in place, it accomplishes nothing if the written process is not followed by all. FBA, followed by all. People will deliver value their way, which is often not your way nor the best way. So here's the FBA checklist. Do you all agree that having the most important 20% core process documented and then followed by all, even without a massive procedural manual, everything will quickly become easier to manage, more consistent, more scalable, more profitable, and more fun? For sure. So next, we're going to move on to traction, which is the last key component, the weakest link in most businesses, especially ours, right? So being 100% strong in this component means that everyone in the organization is disciplined and accountable, staying focused on the right stuff and getting done what needs to be done to bring your vision to the ground and make your organization move forward. Okay, so there's only two things, right? Here we got rocks and meeting pals. Okay, there are two tools, rocks and meeting pals, that EOS uses to strengthen the traction component. Rocks are the 3 to 7 most important things you have to get done in the next 90 days. When your business is running on this system, every person in the organization will have at least one rock each quarter. It is human nature to get distracted about every 90 days. We all get sucked into the day-to-day, lose focus, or just get bored, right? Setting and achieving rocks each quarter creates a 90-day world for everyone in your organization. You come together, see how you did last quarter, recheck the vision, and then set new priorities for the next 90 days. This keeps everyone laser focused. Most important, everyone owns a piece of the vision and is working together to achieve it. We come up for air every 90 days and repeat the same pulse forever. Inside the 90-day world, you also create a healthy, productive meeting pulse with weekly level 10 meetings. You elevate the meetings you rated at a 4 to a 10. Level 10 meetings follow a set agenda with a specific psychology behind it that will help you communicate regularly and productively. Stay focused on what's important and solve issues effectively throughout the quarter. Well, will you all agree if everyone completes their 3 to 7 most important things every 90 days and having weekly meetings to update and ensure that 3 to 7 most important things are done, this will help us achieve our vision as a company? For sure, right? So yeah, so those are the 6 key components over here. There we go. The vision, the data, the process, the traction, the issue, and the people. EOS is designed to help us get to 100% strong in each of them, which will never really happen. You keep striving for it, but 100% is utopia, right? Fortunately, 80% or better in each key component is possible and most teams reach it. When you're 80% strong, everything seems to fall into place. You can grow the business to whatever size you choose. Running the company becomes more peaceful, more profitable, more fun. Do you all want a more peaceful, more profitable, and more fun working environment, guys? Of course, right? Why wouldn't you want that? Okay, so we're going to move on to the next agenda, which is process. Okay, so here's how it works. The first step in the process in this meeting we're having, which is a 90-minute meeting over here. Okay, for the next step, we'll schedule a full day, 7-hour session called the focus day over here. Okay, then in the focus day, we'll cover 5 tools that will help us get a grip on our business. You've heard part and parcel of these tools during today's session. During focus day, we'll make these tools come to life within our organization. Next, we'll schedule 2 vision building sessions about 30 and 60 days after the focus day. In each of those sessions, we'll first carefully review the tools you've already learned to make sure they're working well. Then we'll begin working through the 8 questions on the VTO. Remember, there we go, these 8 questions, okay? To make sure that everything is okay. So after 3 sessions, and about 60 days, you will all be 100% on the same page with where you're going and exactly how you plan to get there. things will really start to feel different as you gain traction and make real progress toward achieving your vision. From there, we're going to meet every 90 days. Quarterlies and annuals would be conducted for eternity, basically. This is where we create that 90-day world. We come together, see how you did last quarter, get clear and aligned around the vision, solve all your problems and set priorities for the coming quarter. Then you go back into the business for 90 days, all rowing in the same direction and execute. Here, there we go. So ultimately, you and your team will understand and have implemented every tool in the EOS toolbox. Our business will be running on EOS. Of course, we can all leave the process at any time, but if we do choose to move forward, it is important that you make a commitment to sticking with the process for the duration. This is a way of life that's teaching you, not a seminar. Okay? You can't come to a focus day thinking you're going to solve all your problems and see things magically change overnight and the show ends, right? So yeah, question, do you all think EOS may help us? I think it will, right? So if yes, then let's proceed to the next session, which is Vision Building Day 1. And that's all for today's session. Thank you very much, everybody.